this is Irina reporting for Geek Entertainment Television on location at Industrial Light and Magic, where we'll be creating some magic for you with John Dvorak and, of course, Yoda. So many people don't know that John really likes raw milk, but a lot of people know that you're on Cranky Geeks.
Yep, Cranky Geeks. I'm also on Tech 5 on podshow.com, and they write a bunch of columns all over the world.
Yes, he does, even Croatia.
Yeah, I do. I write for Bug Magazine in Croatia.
Tell us who you are and why we would put you in front of a Yoda statue.
Yoda statue scene, I have not. I don't know why you put me in front of the Yoda statue, but you know, this statue is like, you have to come and see this thing over here, and it's where Industrial Light and Magic moved in the Presidio, and I haven't been to this park.
And this is Lucasfilm, right?
Yeah, it's all Lucas's stuff. It's really, they've done a really good job. The place is clean, the lawns are trimmed. The statue, though, is really small. We thought it was, you know, because you see pictures all over the place of it. It looks like a big statue. It's really a very small statue. I guess it's supposed to be to size.
How did you get into journalism and writing?
I've been writing since I was started in the 4th grade.
And what was your first story about?
I don't remember. I was in the 4th grade.
Come on, you can remember. I think mine had something to do with like a princess.
It was something
Very
dumb
boring.
like that. Well, probably not that stupid, but it was something kind of. Then I wrote in high school in the high school newspaper, and we did 2 stories minimum that were completely stuff that we discovered that went wrong. For example, we had photos, and we had a sandwich from the cafeteria that was sealed with a fly inside.
Ooh.
So we took pictures, put that on the front page, and they discontinued the paper for a couple months after that. And then we did something else.
You were censored.
Yeah, we were censored.
Yeah. So was that the root of your crankiness, that fly in the sandwich?
No, I think, you know, it's funny because I have a lot of friends I think we were all cranky during it was a cranky era.
Yeah.
And all these friends of mine who I used to hang out with, when I ever see them again, I don't see them too much, but once in a while I do, I realize that I'm the least cranky of this group. So he's sitting back there holding, looking at this little bitty thing. I'm thinking, this guy's an idiot. And is this the stupidest thing you've ever heard? Talking about jerks, fake Steve Jobs is Dan Lyons, the senior editor at Forbes.
Cow.
Yeah, I'm actually depressed when I'm around them because these guys are so negative. It's unbelievable. I mean, I only do it as an act.
I know.
I'm actually a pretty positive guy. I'm very up-tempo. I'm a happy-go-lucky character in reality. But
Yes.
these guys are I mean, they're very.
So for them, it's real. For you, it's just how you make money and piss off the new kids, like Marshall Kirkpatrick.
Newbies.
So then that means you admit it. You wrote that thing about the Web 2.0 bubble just to like make us go, oh, I can't believe he said that.
No, I'm totally sincere about the Web 2.0 bubble.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
About what? That there's going to be a bubble and it's going to collapse and we're all going to be broke? I don't think so. Actually, there's a cycle in economics that I've been following, and there's no way that we're not going to have some catastrophe by 2010.
Can you tell us a little bit about what's been going on in technology for the last 20 years?
Yeah, it started
Sorry.
20 years.
Well, listen, I think you're what.
87, that means we're talking 87, that means, since you only said 20 years.
Wait, when was the last time you were in Russia when it was still Soviet Russia? So now that we know your crankiness is an act, tell us what you're happy about on the internet.
On the internet? That's, you know, by the way, you know, you guys, for example, to find this place, you used Yelp. I'm a big fan of that product. And I think this, you know, it's really the future of reviewing in some ways.
But can you really trust those people? I mean, how do you know which ones are real and which ones are like fake people planted by, you know, my nail salon?
Right, I've planted myself there a few times. But you do it by reverse engineering, which makes it kind of a game. You find the people that agree with you, because that's where you have to have a base. So you find people who agree with you, and then you see what else they did, and then if they continue to agree with you, and then they have things that you have never checked out before, you can probably be sure that it's going to be good.
So listen, what's your favorite typewriter? Because we all know you've been using typewriters longer than you've been using. I think you're the only guest on my show who probably used one of these in 1934. You were what, 12?
Wow.
And what about the first movie that you went to see that you remember without anyone and that you paid for with your allowance?
That'll date me. I did remember going to see The Robe.
The Robe.
Yeah, The Robe was a big deal. That was the first movie. I was a little kid, but it was the first movie that was the movie's answer to television, and it was the first CinemaScope production. And so that you go to the theater, which is your standard theater, it was always one screen back then, and there was the normal size screen, and they said, and now, they have some movie of some guy coming out and introducing this new technology, and then they said, and now we go to CinemaScope, and then the curtains open, it's ultra wide, and there's this huge screen about 10 times bigger, and boom, they showed this movie. And then you realize that these guys are more competitive than we thought they were.
Wow. Mine was First Blood 2. And on that note, thank you so much, Yoda. We look up to you and your journalistic skills, and I hope that I will be as long and successful career-wise as you are.
I'm hanging in there.
Thank you.
You've had a vasectomy, haven't you? And they go, yeah, how did you know?